So I hope nobody minds this style of video where it's just me speaking into Facebook Messenger. I haven't felt like being in front of a camera for a while, and hopefully I'll find a better and more aesthetically pleasing to look at way of making these when I don't want to be seen. But for now, I just wanted to get some thoughts out. So, I've always had a strong sense of sentimentality to me, taking in the atmosphere and surroundings of a time I know will forever stay with me. The sounds and words I hear that will echo and reverberate forever without ever dying down. The times I've been graced by something or someone amazing, even if it was simply a mundane Tuesday evening at home at 5:41 p.m. during a casual conversation. It's not going anywhere. I don't connect with many people, and most things in this world either disgust or bore me. I end up investing all of myself into what I do find interesting or engaging, as well as the people I do let in. Without much effort, I find myself picking up small cues and quirks about these people. They interest me, and I somehow interest them. They love me, and then I find myself loving them. My eyes and mind can't ever leave them, because life was a lot less interesting before they came along. And I remember what it was like. And in an attempt to keep them around longer, I start to remember and catalog all that I can about them, for showing me such humanity by letting me into their world. It's the least I could do to make them feel appreciated. That they're worth remembering. Who they are, the things that fascinate them, their ideas, their history, their dislikes, their feelings. And so are the minute details of the time that I knew them. I only invite the most standout and legendary of personalities into my world. And I want them to understand that. I don't feel safe around most people. I don't share with most people. And most people aren't worth my time. And I feel deeply about expressing that to them by making them feel that legendary and impactful. Because it really is true. I still recite the stories of yesterlife with them to this day. But, lately, I've been wondering, what good has it ever brought me to do things this way? To put that much emphasis on the importance of someone in my life that I religiously idolize them. Multiple people. Well into my third decade of life, I'm finding that while it may be flattering to my loved ones to have such an adoring simp who knows them inside and out, makes them feel noticed and appreciated, and like everything about them is worth remembering, I feel at this point in my life, I've spent myself almost completely, investing so much in so many people that have come and gone. And I'm still standing here remembering almost all of it. 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 25 years ago. And that's all that's left of them, is what I'm holding on to. And why? Because while it may be a romantic or nurturing gesture to remember someone so thoroughly and fondly, and I admit I have my personal reasons for this lifelong habit as well that I'll soon get into, realistically, people don't stay in each other's lives forever. Things will eventually end even with people who could never see themselves parting. We fight, we break up, we betray, We let things get between us like money and drama. We get bored of each other, or we move away. We get married and begin our own lives. We grow apart. And even if we survive all of that, we pass away. I used to subscribe to the mantra of, if it's temporary, don't concern yourself. But being the dumb motherfucker that I've always been, I woke up in a hospital bed one day and realized it's all temporary. So do I not concern myself with anything then? Well, of course not. That's silly. So then I don't really know where to go from here. I don't really have a concrete answer for myself or for you. I'm just kind of left here floundering. We all say, I'll love you forever, or things to that effect. But deep down, we all know that we can't love them forever. When we die, eventually, we physically won't have the biological faculties to feel anything, including our memories and love for them. Deep down, we know that we can't have what we have forever. And because it's all temporary, that's why we love it and hold on to it. And I know this. I'm well aware of this. Even when I was on my, if it's temporary, don't concern yourself bullshit, I knew this. And that's why I did my best for so long to keep those temporary things eternal. That's why I did it. By remembering all the little things, paying attention to those I care about, watching them, remembering what they look like, everything about them, all the jokes and advice they gave to me, and all the moments that I had with them, so that I could always go back to the beginning, and slowly walk through the hallways again, through the kitchen, and into the living room, up the stairs, and peek into the bedrooms. In each room, passing faces that were once there, and even hearing them speak to me. They'd tell me that one joke that would always get me, and I laugh like it's the first time I've heard it. But I'm just so tired of living there now. Not because of its contents, but because I know that it's not real, and that I'm probably misremembering small bits, thus not being a perfect emulation of what I've tried to hold on to. But also because I'm just dangling something in front of myself that I'll never get back. And that's not fair to do to myself. Again, holding on to what we've lost or what we know we're going to lose, which, as we've established, is everything. We all have our ways of preserving these cherished things in our lives, through recording our favorite moments, taking pictures, perhaps making a scrapbook. We celebrate traditions, create holidays, or believe in a religion where all is eternal in some form or another, whether it's an afterlife or reincarnation. We visit graves, we get tattoos, we create songs and art, or perhaps dedicate our accomplishments to that one mentor or loved one at the end of your acceptance speech. But this is mine. I'll sometimes let you inside to see it, but it's mostly just mine. Things that I used to share with amazing people come and gone are now just mine. Mainly because no outsider would ever appreciate these things the way that I do. So there's really no point in even beginning to explain. But also because, honestly, it's embarrassing how tightly I hold on to shit until my knuckles are white, how obsessive I must look, or how off in another world I must come off as. And they'd be right. I just don't really know how else to really go through life without having the mentality of a kid on a beach, picking up cool rocks and shells he's found. Things that catch my eye, things that are special and beautiful. My pockets are full now, and I don't really know what to do with these pretty rocks. Well, I'm a kid on a beach, aren't I? And there's an ocean right there, isn't there? Large and vast, with the setting sun reflecting upon it. I could always just toss them out there, one by one, until night comes. As unthinkable as that is, it's an option. It's just too much weight to carry anymore. Too much baggage. It's just too much. I just want to keep all of it. Make it real and construct my perfect reality from these memories. But that's not going to happen. None of it's going to happen ever again. So now that you're caught up with where I'm at, I'll finally tell you what I'd like to learn next. I'd like to be able to just experience something in my life and enjoy it. Or, not enjoy it if it's something unenjoyable. And learn from it or appreciate it for what it was. Then move on to the next life activity without carrying a duffel bag full of memorabilia into it. I just want to love things the way they're supposed to be loved, by having it and letting it go when the time comes. Ugh. Oh God. Even just saying that right then, I had such an innate knee-jerk aversion to it. But it's gotta happen. If I'm going to have any good in my life from this point forward, I'm going to have to empty my pockets. Otherwise, these pants are just going to weigh me down from walking towards what's next. So that's where I'm at. That's where I've been. And that's where I'm at now. Thank you to whoever sat through all of this. I know that these can be self-indulgent at times. And maybe me cataloging my thoughts onto this channel like this is just another branch of me holding on to things. But it feels good to do, and I don't really go back and watch my videos anyway. So I'm sure this is fine to do. The next time that you see your best friend over at their house, or the next time that your mom calls just to say hi, or the next time that you come home and your pet has destroyed the couch, and then they come running over to you, you won't be aware of the memory that you're currently living in that moment. You appreciate them, sure, the little things. But in that moment, they're just another moment, part of the daily routine. But then, in the blink of an eye, that moment will be gone. That little moment, as mundane as that little phone call with mom was, as casual as that visit to your friend's house was, as inconsequential of a moment you feel that was to the grand scope of your life, that moment is now gone. It's crazy to think about, huh? Us as humans, we don't really view our lives in such an abstract way as every little second is a moment. Like we don't go about our day thinking, I'm creating a memory. And the times that we do think that way are times when it's something very noteworthy to us. It could be a marriage proposal or the birth of your child. But that feeling to remember every little thing doesn't wash over us every second of every day of our lives. But to that, my friend, I would say, the little moments count too. Try to remember some of the little moments. And I would also say that they're either equal to or greater than the more major timeline events in our lives. I would argue that. They're important to have. They build towards the major events. They come after them, and they fill every space in between. A lot of amazing things can happen in a little moment. They can really add color and personality to a relationship with someone. So I hope I've made my point by now. Why everything means so much to me. The few people that I let into my life, I'll never forget them. I hope I've made that point why I'm such a mental pack rat. But I've got to find a better way to manage my storage and dump some of these rocks somewhere. And to remember that the habit of hoarding that I have comes from the fact that everything is so fleeting. Everything is just so temporary and ephemeral. Every other iteration of Kurt would tell you, if it's temporary, don't concern yourself. Well, life is temporary. Each life is temporary. And within each temporary life, temporary things, temporary moments, temporary feelings, temporary people, I'm temporary. I'm as temporary as they come. What did I just say? Past iterations of Kurt. I said every other iteration of Kurt would say that if it's temporary, don't concern yourself. Do you see the oxymoron? Every other iteration. If it's temporary, don't concern yourself. I mean, I still understand where past Kurt came from. I'm just as scared as he is. But even the memories that I'm clinging on to, they're going to get a little fuzzy around the edges. The longer I live, I'm not going to be able to remember every little detail. So holding on to that can only last so long. So I'm going to make an attempt to abort the lifelong mission statement of mine. The fool's errand of remembering every little thing and every little moment that came with every person I decided to let into my life. It can't happen. It's not healthy, even if it could happen, even if I could retain everything forever, even if I could, I'd still be right here. So my new mantra will be, if it's temporary, experience it. And then go chase the next temporary thing. It's not as smooth as if it's temporary, don't concern yourself. It's not as compact and neatly, but it's a work in progress. But I will, however, continue to love and cherish everything I've lived through and everyone that I've met. Like a shooting star. It was special because of how brief it was. But it was pretty fucking cool, wasn't it? You got to experience that. Something that's primary appeal, a shooting star, something that's primary appeal is how short-lived it is, and you got to see that. I got to see that. Now think of everything around you as a shooting star. From every person you've met to every, oh, you had to be there moment that you've experienced. That's why it evokes such wonderful feelings and responses from you. That's why you enjoy these people and moments. That's what makes it so valuable. And that's why we all hold on.
Thank you.
To have some friends.